ورحمة الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهدي الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. يعني استأذن مشايخي الشيخ محمد، الشيخ أحمد، الشيخ رفيق to give this lecture يعني in their presence. فإذا لم يسمحوا اعتزلناكم. هذا فراق بيني وبينهم يعني. الله يحفظك، الله يبارك فيك، الله يحفظك. Inshallah, we continue with our series of these lectures. تأخر من كتاب عمدة الفقه الشيخ ابن قدامة الإمام ابن قدامة المقدسي, and we're talking about باب النكاح أو كتاب النكاح. And tonight we will talk about quickly inshallah, since after the lecture we will have Sheikh Ahmed addressing you, and يعني I will be translating unpaid translation, which is يعني sometimes you guys crossing the limits. Well, what can we do? تفريق بالعتق والصدق. يعني those two things inshallah we will talk about very quick. قال المصنف رحمه الله: فصل في التفريق بالعتق. وإن عتقت المرأة وزوجها عبد خيرت في المقام معه وفراقه ولها فراقه من غير حكم حاكم، فإن اعتق قبل اختيارها أو وطئها بطل خيارها، وإن عتق بعضها أو عتق كلها وزوجها حر فلا خيار له أو لها. In this section, since last section talked about العيوب في النكاح, and we talked about problems and defects in the marriage contract, that was last section. This one he follows up with this topic, and here يعني this topic is not present in these days, but since the ulama speak about it, then we discuss it من الباب المنهج العلمي يعني, as we are following a book and we need to address every issue in the book instead of jumping around and skipping some parts. So very quick, he's talking about if a woman was a slave woman married to a slave man, and then it happens that this woman, this slave woman, gets freed. She's freed. Then what happens in this issue? And the reason he mentioned this part after the parts of al-uyub or the defects in marriage, because the issue is, since this woman became free and her husband still slave, now it becomes an issue to her that her husband is slave and she's free. So that's why they're addressing this after Bab al-Uyub. So he's saying rahimahullah, if a woman is slave and then she's freed and her husband stays as a slave, then she's entitled and she has the option of staying with him or leaving him. Staying with him or leaving him. And that is the issue that he's addressing rahimahullah. وعامة أهل العلم, and most of the people of knowledge says that she has this option. Okay, most and the majority of Ahl al-Ilm say she has the option of staying or leaving. And we are not talking about divorce. We're talking about her picking up her stuff or practicing the right for al-fasakh. يعني breaking the marriage. Fasakh. because al-fasakh is different than divorce. So in this issue, in this instance, we're talking about al-fasakh, and that is ending the marriage contract. And we know the woman doesn't have the option in regular marriage. She doesn't have the option of divorce. But here we're talking about her being entitled for this option when this situation takes place. She stays as slave, and she's a free woman, and her husband stays as slave. جاء عند الإمام مالك وأبي داود وأهل السنن أن عائشة قالت كاتبت بريرة فخيرها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في زوجها مغيث. يعني بريرة was a slave and for Aisha رضي الله عنها, and she was married to a slave man. Then she was freed. She was slave. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam interceded for Mughith, for her to stay with him after she was freed. So she asked the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is it an order or intercession? Yani, are you ordering me to stay with him, or you're just interceding? He said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, just interceding. So she said, لا حاجة لي. Then I don't want to stay with him. Now I don't want to stay with him. And this is dalil sahih, sarih, that the woman who is freed becomes or has this privilege. Now the other issue, هذا التخيير هل هو على الفور أم على التراخي؟ يعني this woman is freed now. If she stays with him for a day or two or a month or two, does that mean she's accepting him and then she loses her privilege? Or she has to practice this option right away? When she becomes free, she has to practice it, or we will understand that she's choosing to forfeit her options. And that is something the ulama had spoken about. Two different opinions. قول أول أنه على الفور. يعني she has to practice this option right away. She cannot wait. If she waits, she's indicating that she is accepting this. فلو وطأها بعد عتقها ولو لم تعلم بالخيار فإنه ليس لها خيار. And they're saying they even went to the extreme to say, if after she's freed, she goes and she has intercourse with her husband, and even if she does not know about her option, even if she does not know about her option, they said then she loses that privilege. And of course, this is an option that most probably women would not know. Slave women would not know that if she gets freed, she has the option now to stay or not. So they're saying even if she knew, even if she did not know, and then she happened to have intercourse with her husband, then that is indication that she stays with him and she loses that privilege. Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, كما جاء عند الإمام أحمد, إن قريبك فلا خيار لك. إن قريبك فلا خيار لك. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told Barira, if he touches you, then you have no option, you have no privilege. And then the other ulama will understand this hadith differently. And that is the second opinion, that she has that option and she still can practice this option as long as she did not accept clearly him as a husband to continue with her husband, and she did not indicate clearly that, as long as she did not admit or accepts him clearly, whatever, either by sleeping with him after she knew her options, or she's saying, I know I have the option but I will forfeit it, then she still has that option as long as. And they said the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, in قريبك فلا خيار لك, is, they said, min bab al-ilm. يعني the Prophet ﷺ is just teaching her, that she has an option. The Prophet ﷺ is just teaching her she has an option. And then after that, يعني this Mughith used to run after her in the streets of Al-Madinah, run after her, crying. crying, begging her to stay with him. And the Prophet ﷺ used to look at her, at him, and say لعمه العباس يا عباس ألا تعجب من حب مغيث بريرة ومن كره بريرة لمغيث. He used to tell his uncle ﷺ, aren't you wondering about the love of Mughith to her and how much she hates him and how much he loves her? Which is actually, the ulama takes this as يعني a proof and a dalil that it's okay to fall in too much love with your wife, just like what happened to Mughith. But the point is, you need to control. Sometimes the one of us might be in so much love with his wife, to the point where he uses his manhood, and she walks all over him, and she started doing whatever she wants. And this is something you need to be aware of. The men have privilege over women. They have a degree over women. And sometimes the person has so much love that he cannot discipline her. He sees her doing the wrong things and he cannot tell her no. I love her, brother. They have problems with marital problems, and I sit and I listen, and then the solution is one simple thing. رجلا في بيتك. Be a man in your house. That's the solution. The last person I told him that, after he threw up, after I told him man up, and he threw up right on the spot. He threw up, and I said man up. He said I have to go to the bathroom. Wallah. He came back and he said I can't. I can't. I said then live with this misery that you're crying. He said whenever I try to be a man, they tell me just calm down, sit down, relax. That's his kids and his wife. So what do you want me to do? وهل أملك في ديني شيئا لمن نزع الله الرحمة من قلبي? What can I do? If you're not going to listen, so that is the bottom line. But yet the Prophet ﷺ still did not criticize Mughith for his love, even though it was extreme, the love of Mughith for Barira, extreme, to the point where يركض خلفها في الأسواق يبكي, crying after her in the street. قال المصنف فإن أعتق قبل اختيارها أو وطئها بطل خيارها. Now she's freed, so the right opinion is she doesn't have to practice her rights and split the relationship right away. She can think about it, okay? As long as she did not admit or accept him as a husband after her freedom, then we say she continues to have that privilege. Let's say she said I'm gonna think for a week, and 3 days later she's freed, and she said I'm gonna think for a week to see if it's worth it to leave him or. So 3 days into the week he gets freed. The person who owns him, you're free. بوجه الله, كفارة, whatever. If this happens, then she loses the privilege. She loses the privilege. And the reason, because we said that she's entitled to leave him because it's not acceptable anywhere. For her it might be harmful, because we said any aib, any defects in a marriage contract that gives or entitles one of the two individuals involved in the contract, husband or wife, to break the marriage, fasq is if it's harmful to him or to her. Okay? Last time we said two people get married, and they do the marriage contract exactly the way it's supposed to. Then she finds out, for example, that let's say he cannot have kids, and he knew that, or even if he did not know, maybe he was married before or he was never married, and she wants kids. This, considered to be a defect in the marriage, gives her the right to leave. or gives her the right to leave or to practice her options. She has an option, either to stay or to leave. Okay? So that is defect harmful to her. And we also said, since we're talking about this issue, العقم يعني impotence on his part, infertility on hers, if she is the one who cannot have kids, does he have the right for al-fasq, to leave and that's it? The right opinion from the ulama is he doesn't. And why is that? Because he can marry another woman. Alright? You see the difference? The ulama dissected these things and these issues. Don't say, use it as an excuse. That's it. I got 15 years of her life, now let me throw her away. Okay? Or I have that right. No. You don't have right for al-fasq. You have the right for divorce if you choose, and you have the right to marry another woman to give you the kids and keep this one. So it's very important to understand. So whenever there is a defect that can harm either one, that gives them the right for divorce. When we talked about that, we said بِحُكْمِ حَاكِمٍ. There got to be a judge who gonna rule. Because she might use any excuse to say this is harmful to me. So she goes, she wants fasq. It's over. No. It has to go through hakim, through a judge who can estimate and who can study the situation, and he can judge. Maybe there are solutions they're unaware of. Okay? In this issue, the next part says that if he becomes free as well before she practices her option, before she said it's over, then she loses that privilege. Because we said the illah and the reason for her to be entitled is because she will be married to a slave man. And the slave man has no right, has no freedom or no will to do whatever he wants. He's ruled or he's owned by his master. And a free woman, maybe it will be harmful to her to be married to a man like that. Okay? So if he gets free before she practices her option, then she loses that privilege because the illah or the reason behind that right is over. Now, قال فإن أعتق قبل اختيارها أو وطئها بطل خيارها. Okay? The same point. Either this, if he's freed, or she knows about her right, yet she allows him to have intercourse with her. If she allows him, that is a sign of acceptance to stay with him. Clear sign, and that is what they have said. Some of Ahl al-Ilm said that her right stays, the privilege to leave him stays, whether he stays as slave or he is free. And this opinion is weak and is not supported. قال مصنف ولها فراقه من غير حكم حاكم. In this issue, we said the other examples, we said there's a judge. In this issue, she becomes free, he stays slave. They say, Ibn Qudama rahimahullah, and that's the right opinion, that she leaves him without a judge. Why? Why she doesn't need a judge to rule? That's it. I'm free now, you're slave, she leaves. Why in the other uyub or the other defects they had to go through a judge? Now she doesn't have to go through a judge, or he doesn't have to go through a judge.
Because the slave is owned by the master. He's the one who controls them.
No. She doesn't have to go to a judge. Because the other issues we spoke about were things that are disputable. What seems to her as a defect might not be. What seems to her to him as a problem, it might be solvable. In this instance, when there is ijma' and agreement amongst the ulama, because it's straightforward. If I'm free and you're still slave, that's it. What are we going to go to a judge? What are you going to say? You might not be free? No, I'm free. So in this instance, and apply to that across the board, Whenever the hukum is clear 100%, 100%, then there is no need to go to a judge to split. You understand? This is ijma'. This issue is ijma'. If a woman is slave, married to a slave, she becomes free, that's it. She can practice her right and she can split. Fasq. No need for a judge because it's straightforward and clear. No place for disputation. So she leaves, and خلاف بين أهل العلم تحيض مرة حيضة أم 3 قرون. يعني some of the ulama said after she leaves she has to wait 1 month because it's fasq, it's not divorce, and some of أهل العلم said she has to stay for 3 حيضات or not 3 months, 3 periods, يعني 3 clearances, okay, 3 طهور 3 أو يعني خلاف بين أهل العلم. Some said 1 month, 1 حيضة, and some said 3, and then after that she can marry whoever she wants. يقول المؤلف: وإن عتق بعضها أو عتق كلها وزوجها حر فلا خيار لها. أو يعني I think this is typo in the book وزوجها عبد. They said أيوه أقول لك. You're leaving? طيب I see you بتودع يعني. He's saying if part of her is free or all of her وزوجها عبد, okay, فلا خيار لها. Here وزوجها حر. He's saying if part of her is free, not all of her, and her husband's still a slave, then she doesn't have that option. Abu Marwan, أيوه الله يفتح عليك. Abu Marwan asked a question. He said, how can you free part of a slave? And you free an arm, free a leg, free a day. You're a slave for 6 days and a day you do whatever. How?
Can free and your religion, for instance.
لا. لا. If they are partners in slavery, يعني slave $10,000, we said let's get a slave so can work in, we have a field together, we have business together, we need a slave to work in there, so staff does not give us a hard time, so we buy a slave when it existed. So I put 5,000, you put 5,000. So one day the slave is great. لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ, I said, your part is, I free my part in you. So his part free, part slave. Right? Yet still part slave. So being part slave still does not give the privilege, the privilege for this woman to leave her husband. That is the point. طيب واضح؟ Okay. Also, the other issue about وَزَوْجُهَا حُرٌّ, they're saying if a free man was married to a slave woman, and we said a free Muslim is not allowed to marry a slave woman, but with conditions. Who remembers? He cannot afford, for example, the mahr, the dowry for free women is expensive. هذه قصة ثانية. He wants to get married. He doesn't have, okay, he cannot afford to marry a free woman, and he cannot afford to buy a slave woman. And he cannot have وَمَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ. And this slave woman he's going to marry, it's not his, because if it was his, why he needs to marry her? The second thing, so first he cannot afford, and second, he cannot control his desire. So if these two conditions, and some of the ulama broke the first one into two. One, he cannot marry a free woman, and he cannot afford to buy a slave woman. They said then he's qualified to marry a slave woman. Now if someone did that, he married a slave woman, then she became free. Does she have the option to leave him or she doesn't?
Yeah, she has.
Some of the ulama said she does. And if we go in the rational and the reason why a slave woman after she's freed, she has the right to leave her slave husband, then in this situation it doesn't apply because her husband is free man. So that is the opinion that he has said. And that's the opinion of al-Jumhur. Kitab al-Sadaq. Now, more relevant topic. Oh.
يعني هذا القواعد لكن يتوقف على الأحاديث الرسول ما فيش آيات تدعمها.
هذه أحاديث النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، هذه معاملة.
يعني كسنة.
من أي باب كسنة؟
يعني ما فيش يدعمها مثل الزواج عارف المدعوم بآيات القرآن.
أيوة.
بالتالي ما فيش مثلا لا عقل العبد والمعبد. ما فيش آيات تدعمها.
هذه كما when we talk about الخيار and all that, we spoke about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Are there ayat specifically about this topic? There are no ayats on every topic. وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. We mentioned the story of Barira and Mughith. That is a dalil. Hadith sahih, accepted by Ahl al-Ilm. That is a dalil. Okay? We cannot say if it's not in the Quran, then we don't have to listen, or we don't have to be. If it's in the Sunnah, the Prophet ﷺ, Allah says in the Quran, وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. And we talked last time about al-uyub and having the option to leave or not. There is not one ayah in the Quran that says a woman, when there is a defect in the husband, she has the right to leave. But we have general ayat that talk وَعَاشِرُهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ. So it's very important to connect between the ayat and the hadith. Okay? So these are the issues and this we cannot just separate. If we're going to just take the Quran, the Sunnah is explanatory of the Quran. The Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ come at different situations. Sometimes it supports the Quran. It agrees with what's in the Quran. Sometimes it explains what's in the Quran. And sometimes it adds to what's in the Quran. Gives extra information. Okay? So these are, that is the ilm, and that is what we teach. كتاب الصداق. قال المصنف رحمه الله: كتاب الصداق كل ما جاز أن يكون ثمنا جاز أن يكون صداقا قليلا أو كثيرا، بقول رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم للذي قال له زوجني هذه المرأة إن لم يكن لك بها حاجة التمس ولو خاتم من حديد. فإذا زوج الرجل ابنته بأي صداق كان جاز، ولا ينقصها غير الأب من مهر مثلها إلا برضاها. وإذا أصدقها عبدا بعينه فوجدته معيبا خيرت بين أرشه ورده وأخذ قيمته، وإن وجدته مغصوبا أو حرا فلها قيمته، وإن كانت عالمة بحريته أو غصبه حين العقد فلها مهر مثلها، وإن تزوجها على أن يشتري لها عبدا بعينه فلم يبيعه سيده أو طلب به أكثر من قيمته فلا قيمة. So here we're talking about the issue of الصداق, and that is what people understand or know as المهر, the dowry, and can be الصداق or الصداق, but أشهر الصداق, the more famous, known as الصداق, and that is what the people agree, the wali of the woman and the person who is proposing to be married, the man, that they agree on. نقل ابن عبد البر رحمه الله مالكي the ijma', the consensus of the ummah, the ulama of the ummah, that sadaq wajib. Mahr is a must in a marriage contract. Mahr is a must in marriage contract. Today they come to get married. What is al-mahr? يعني it's not important. Sure, it's not important. Okay? Oh, it's this and that. لا. The mahr has to be agreed on between, at least, we will talk about, does it have to be announced publicly? It to be this or that, that is different issue. But there must be a mahr, there must be a sadaq for a marriage contract to be effective, as we will see what the ulama have said. قال أجمع علماء المسلمين أنه لا يجوز وطء في نكاح بغير صداق مسمى دينا أو نقدا. He said, Ibn Abdul Barr rahimahullah, it's not permissible to have intercourse, of course through marriage, without sadaq agreed on, whether it's immediate, yani to be paid immediately, or later on. Remember, muqaddam, muakhar. There has to be at least an agreement. It doesn't have to be due right away. He can say, my sadaq to you is the profit that my store gonna make at the end of this year. That's fine. But it has to be something that's agreed on at the time before al-waqt, before consummating the marriage. And there are issues that come with sadaq. It's very important for us to understand. حكم العقد الذي اشترط فيه عدم المهر. Sometimes he will come, Allah يعني I would like to marry your daughter, but أنا على الحديدة, يعني I'm broke, so if you want me to marry your daughter, there is no mahr. Or he says he has a daughter who's old, or he wants to get her married, so he comes to someone, he tells him, I give you my daughter in marriage without mahr. Okay? So the ulama have different opinions about that. First, such attitude is wrong. Shar'an, يعني by the sharia, is not allowed. It's not allowed for a man to put a condition. To put a condition that I'm marrying your daughter, fine. And he's doing you a favor. I'm gonna marry your daughter, but there is no, don't dream of a mahr. La. This condition is batil, false. Or he comes, or she comes, she said, I accept to marry you without mahr. Yani she wants to get married, so she tells him, I'll marry you without mahr. Incentive. La. This thing should not take place, and it's against the sharia. But now the ulama have different opinions about the aqd itself, the contract itself. Is the contract still valid? Or the contract is null as well? Because we understand and we agree the condition is null. Such condition is batil. But is the marriage contract still valid? Yani you maybe this happened to you. Maybe you've been married for your wife for 10 years, and this happened between you guys when you got married, and now you hear it for the first time. So you start, is my marriage valid or not? Okay? The opinion of the majority of Ahl al-Ilm, al-Jumhur, and that is the right opinion, is الشرط باطل والعقد صحيح. The condition is false, but the contract is valid. Right? Some of the ulama, including Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, went the other way. They said العقد باطل, الشرط باطل والعقد باطل. They said the condition is not invalid and the contract is null as well. Okay? تكلم إن شاء الله تكلم في هذا. Okay? So these are two opinions, and as we said, the solid and the right opinion. You ready? Okay, 2 minutes. Inshallah we finish this point and we continue, pick up next time. Allah يحفظ. من يزيد. So the opinion of al-Jumhur is al-Aqd valid. The contract and the marriage is valid, but this condition we're going to throw out of the window. And the opinion of Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah and others, as he said, that they're both invalid, but the right opinion is the other opinion. Okay, which is the opinion of الجمهور. إن الشروط الفاسدة عندهم قاعدة إن الشروط الفاسدة في عقد النكاح تصح العقود وتبطل الشروط. عقود stay valid, the conditions are invalid unless the condition is not against the intent of the contract. Marriage contract, the intent behind it is love, mawadda, sakina, protection ones from falling in zina. All these are intents of marriage contract. Al-mahr is not. Al-mahr is not the intent behind the marriage contract. So their opinion of al-jumhur, as long as the condition does not go against the intent of the marriage contract. Yani, a woman says to a man, I'll marry you, I'll accept marrying you, but you cannot sleep with me. Okay? So of course this makes the whole contract invalid. But since al-mahr is not part of the intent of the contract, then we say, or jumhur of al-ulama said, then the contract is valid, the condition is out of the window. قول الله سبحانه وتعالى خالصة لك من دون المؤمنين. This is al-hibah. If a woman comes to a man and tells him, I'll marry you and my mahr is weak, I don't want mahr from you, this is only allowed for the Prophet ﷺ, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Ahzab. That is called al-hibah. يعني imra'ah wahabat nafsaha. This woman granted herself in marriage to a man, she waives her right. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran said this is only allowed for the Prophet ﷺ. So from this point we said it's not allowable for any Muslim man to deal with this contract. If a woman comes and says, I waive my mahr, just marry me, this is not allowed. Okay? According to the ayah. لكن Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it clear. He said only for you. من دون المؤمنين. من دون المؤمنين. يعني only for the Prophet ﷺ and the believers are not allowed to do this. يعني another dalil that a woman should receive a mahr. And that supports the opinion of al-jumhur. طيب? So inshallah, we stop here. And there are many reasons why this opinion, the opinion of al-jumhur, is the right opinion. We'll discuss that inshallah next time. And now we let Sheikh Ahmed address you for a few minutes inshallah. And then we pray Isha. And then we have food. And then we go home. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم صلى الله عليه وسلم. جزاكم الله.